Okay. Trump, 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 Trump. Me when I'm asked my favorite president of all time. Powell and Trump video. It's very funny. So, a little context. We mentioned before, Donald Trump would love to fire Chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell. He'd love to fire him. He really wants to fire him so he can install his own puppet and force interest rates down and try to juice the economy. Powell has been pretty giga-chad about standing up for central bank independence and being able to do his own thing and not have to bow to him. And that's been this standoff. Now, normally, the president and the central banker don't even meet. They should be independent. There shouldn't be a lot of influence there. But they met today. Trump made a big deal of it. And this doesn't happen. This doesn't happen very often. I think there's like 3 or 4 times this happens. It's very rare, like in all presidents and central bankers. And so we then had them meet at the site of the construction of the new Federal Reserve building. Now, if you've watched a previous YouTube video, this is the source of the drama because this construction is costing a lot of money and Trump is trying to use it to paint Jerome Powell as a scammer who is defrauding the government or trying to build a palace so that he can get him fired with cause. He needs a cause reason to fire him. If he just fires him, that's illegal and leads to a big court fight. But if he can say that, well, I'm firing him because of his fraudulent spending on this construction. So they met with hard hats on at the construction site and they had this meeting.
Well, thank you very much. We're looking at the construction and we're with the chairman, as you know. Chairman, come on over. And we're just taking a look at what's happening here.
He's so unhappy. He's so deeply unhappy to be here with this man at this time on this camera. Come on over. Come on over.
It's a tough construction job. They're building basements where they didn't exist or expanding them, and a lot of very expensive work. There's no question about it. And Tim has been with me for a long time, and you're in charge of the committee.
Indeed. One of the reasons why I wanted to see it was the overruns of the expenses, wanted to figure out why.
Yeah. So we're taking a look, and it looks like
he's really focused on these overruns, these expense overruns.
It's about $3.1 billion. It went up a little bit. Or a lot.
So anyway, listen, it's an expensive project, don't get me wrong, but it's multi-years long and it's this massive thing and it's been approved. My understanding is that there is no overruns on the original cost. And you can see him shaking his head as he describes his 3.1 billion cost. So we'll see.
So we're taking a look and it looks like it's about $3.1 billion. It went up a little bit or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
3.1, 3.2.
This came from us.
Yes.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added.
That's our entire capital plan.
Yeah, you just added in a third building, is what that is. That's a third building,
Well,
including
no,
the
but
Martin building.
it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work. So
It's not new.
nice to take these off, everyone. So
Boots on the ground fraud prevention, that's my president. Yeah, I mean, you can tell that Donald Trump is here because he really, really believes that there's a $400 million cost overrun in this construction project, and then he needs to be there and figure it out on hand. And it's not because he is searching desperately for any excuse to try and fire Jerome Powell. I do very much appreciate. Again, sometimes you have strange bedfellows in these situations where I have to praise Jerome Powell more than I would want to in a different time. I think he's handled this whole saga really well, but he also was super late to 2021 inflation. So there's, he's not a perfect central banker in my book, but he's done a decent job in this tumultuous time. And I like that he handled that pretty well. I think that was really good. Just immediately recognizing the number didn't make sense, asking to see his thing, looking at it and verifying. Too late, Powell, they call him. So that was pretty funny. Sitting up to this pressure is legit impressive. It is. It is actually impressive. I mean, they're really throwing a lot at him. A lot of press pressure, social media pressure, political pressure to try and break his independence, which is supposed to be independent. I think he's had a good spine about it. Famously there was like Arthur Burns. I was thinking Arthur Ashe. Yeah, Arthur Burns was very heavily pressured by Richard Nixon back in the day to lower interest rates, and he did do it. He caved, and Jerome Powell has not caved. What happened next? Inflation, actually. and then Nixon, this will make all the communists that love Nixon happy. Nixon rolled out price controls. He tried to roll out price controls. He literally had a series of price controls where he like made it illegal to raise prices, and then of course the natural response to that was no supply in black markets. It was perfect. It was great. Classic communist Nixon. Yeah. Was there anything I wanted to say about the Jerome Powell thing other than that? I thought it was funny. That's it. They did a little sparring. I didn't have another ton of news. Oh, I did see an interesting piece on how Fox News has been covering the Epstein stuff, because Fox News is owned by Rupert Murdoch, and Rupert Murdoch is being sued by Trump because his other outlet, the Wall Street Journal, is saying Trump is on the Epstein list. So there's this web of connections here. However, Fox News, even if they personally are owned by a guy that doesn't like Trump or is saying he's on the Epstein list, Fox News knows that if they are too mean to Trump, their audience will revolt. So I saw an interesting thing that was like breaking down how they handled it. Like Laura Ingraham, she has one of the biggest audiences on Fox, 2 million viewers. She said, "We have news coming out about this from the Wall Street Journal. A new report tonight on whether or not Trump has new ties to Jeffrey Epstein on the list." And then when they came back from a commercial break, they dropped the subject altogether. They hot dropped it. Like she never followed up. She said, "We've got news coming right after this break." And then after the break, they didn't talk about it again. They pivoted over to discussing immigration, the dangers of the New York subway, Los Angeles' homeless crisis, and the Coldplay Kiss Cam scandal. That's wild. Like they made a hot game time decision to not push the story that Trump is on the Epstein list, which is pretty wild. Now that may change as this lawsuit involves, but it seems like they don't yet want to talk about Trump. They're not at the point where they feel like they can do that without losing everybody. Oh yeah, Clinton too. The next Wall Street Journal follow-up, we should talk about that, I guess. Bill Clinton also on there. Or maybe not, I don't know, but he's on the birthday book of letters. The one there where Trump did the doodling. Apparently Bill Clinton also sent a doodle or a note, which, it tracks with what people were saying of why this maybe didn't get released during Biden. It feels like there are some powerful people implicated from both sides of the aisle here that are not being brought to justice. Do you have a more progressive vision of the future and the policies you advocate for? You're very pragmatic on if you think we should just stop at the moderate stuff you talk about in your videos. You believe you can eventually go farther and escape the political capitalism. This is a sincere question. Is there a country, Trigon, that you think has the economic model you want, historically or today? Is there one that it has to happen in the real world? Who is this a sincere question? Is there like one that you think, Clancyville? Because if you're saying Norway, that's essentially what I am advocating for. No, but I hope for a better future. I guess that's fair. I think I'm pragmatic in that I understand how humans behave, human nature, and I'd like to take that into account when I advocate for things. Pragmatic and human nature often used to oppose progress. We can hope for more. Okay, but on the flip side, the word progress is often used to send people to a situation where they're worse off. Countries can backslide. The name of progress has been used in a lot of things that were actually horrendous for people's freedoms and safety and livelihood. We finally found a way to solve it. We finally found a way to solve it. I talk about the government debt a lot. I talk about the damaging long-term effects of our government's inability to run a balanced budget. Well, guess what? They rolled out a way for us all to be able to Venmo the government directly to pay off the national debt. It now exists. You can now do it. You can PayPal, Venmo, debit card, and you don't get any payout. It's not like a bond. It's a bond, but with no payout, no interest payment. Just a direct gift to the government for no upside. New type of taxes just dropped. How much of a second of spending would $100 help cover? Based on CBO projections, the government spends about $222,000 a second. Thus, $100 would cover 0.000451 seconds or 451 microseconds of spending. That's a lot. We all chip in a hundo bomb. That's a lot of microseconds covered. We can do our part. These aircraft carriers aren't going to fuel themselves. This could save the United States. Can I Venmo now and pay later? Putting the government debt on debt is crazy. Bill Gates just texted me. He said he'd pay it. Well, Bill Gates couldn't do it alone, so we all have to chip in. Can our payments be deducted from my taxes? Maybe, actually. but it's not a net gain for you. You're still losing after-tax income. If every single person donates a couple $100,000, we can get there. I think that's actually true. How much is the national debt per person? It's only $107,000 per person. If we all just chip in a quick 108 grand, this shit is paid, dude. It is paid. We're good. That's nothing. That's actually not that much. Well, it does count every man, woman, and child in the United States, no matter if you are a newborn baby or on death's door. So if you're a parent, you're probably gonna have to contribute 200 or 300 or 400K based on how many kids you have. But that's fine. All parents in this country are not struggling to pay for anything, so newborns get grinding.